Hi, this is Jimmy from Memphis Barbeque Supply, and today we're talking thick cut pork chops. So today we're going to do something that, you usually get your thin cut, center cut pork chops, you just grill over direct heat, wonderful. Today we're going to go thick. We're going to go so thick that you actually have sometimes two bones in that meat. And that's what we're looking at right here. So what is a pork loin? Basically a pork loin sits right there above the pork rib. So it's a nice little muscle group that runs down the center, but a pork chop like this has that connection of the pork loin and that rib meat and that little bit of meat down there. So this is something that we enjoy cooking, but we don't do direct, we do indirect. So we're gonna smoke these bad boys. That's a lean cut of meat. It can dry out in a heartbeat. So how do we get it moist? Better meat through science. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the Heath Riles pork injection and brine. Yes, it's an injection, but you can also mix it with brine. So you're gonna take about a quarter cup, which is about 2 ounces of that pork injection, mix it up with about 12 to 14 to 16, somewhere in that range of moisture. Apple juice is your best option. You could white grape juice, just do not go with dark colored juices. The reason being, it'll stain the meat. This beautiful meat then will turn darker color on it and it gets down deeper, especially if you inject it, same thing. So same thing with the brine. Mix that up, put that into a brine bag and let that soak overnight. So, like we said, marinate these overnight or brine them overnight. And that is what we did with these two chops. We put them in that Heath Riles and apple juice solution. Brine should add somewhere between 4 to 8% more moisture to the meat. And not just on the surface, it should go all over the meat. Okay. Now that they're out, don't just jump in there and start seasoning. Let's pat these bad boys dry, and then we'll start seasoning them up. I like that fat cap that's on the back side of that. I am not going to trim that off. That is going to stay. And the goal of brine is to add that moisture in there so a lean cut of meat like this doesn't dry out when you're smoking it. Sometimes it can easily dry out and become very, very, very dry on you. So now, let's season these guys up. We're not gonna do a barbecue flavor. We're gonna go something a little different. You call it Mediterranean, you call it whatever you want to, just a non-barbecue flavor. We're gonna go with Boars Not Out White Lightning, the double garlic butter. So it has a lot of flavor and that butter flavor. And we're going to hit it all over. And we're gonna come on top of that with our house rosemary and garlic rub. This is a very low sodium rub by itself. So that's why I did the double garlic butter, because it's got a lot of salt in it. This does not. It's a little coarser grind, has that rosemary flavor and that garlic flavor. Yeah, we're not doing a barbecue flavor on this one. We're trying to hit it with more of just aromatics to accent the meat instead of covering it up. Alrighty. I think we're about ready to go there. Only thing else we're gonna do with our meat, some folks like to spray their meats down with a fat, be it a spray oil or something like that, duck fat or Wagyu spray. And that's what we're gonna do on these. Get the top off. And that's what we're gonna do with these. We're gonna take some duck fat and we're gonna add some flare fat on the outside, so that way they don't stick to the grate so much. Add some good flavor to it. Alrighty. So we've got these prepped, ready to go. I got my grill prepped, ready to go outside. And we're gonna do 2-zone cooking. We've got a hot side, we got a cold side. We'll put these on the colder side and let these smoke until they hit the internal temperature we want. We're gonna be shooting for about 140-ish, probably about 135, 140-ish, before we move them over to direct heat and sear them off, get a nice crust on the outside. So we're gonna take these outside, get that on the grill over indirect heat, get some smoke, and we're gonna start cooking. Got the smoke rolling on this guy already. Already prepped him up with some charcoal. Got some hickory wood in there. It's a nice kiss of hickory, works good on pork loins. Like I said, doing indirect heat. We have a hot fire over here. We have an indirect over here. So we're gonna slowly let these start coming up to temperature. Again, our goal is somewhere between 130 to 140 before we pull them, and we'll put them over direct heat just to sear them off real quick. These over indirect heat, nice thick cut pork chops. Color, I just couldn't wait anymore. The color looks great on them. They are dripping with juice. So they've rested for a little bit. So let's cut into them and see how they look. Now remember, these have bones in it. So I'm gonna cut it. Oh yeah, got a nice little smoke ring right there. Oh, beautiful looking, beautiful looking. Let's do this. Let's cut this in the middle. And I do not squeeze meat. Do not squeeze your meat to see how juicy it is. I'm not squeezing it. You see that glisten, you see that dripping off over there. It is juicy. Now, the big test. See how it tastes. Not barbecue flavor. Perfect, the rosemary, garlic, nice, juicy pork chops. And that's how you cut center cut pork chops. Nice thick ones like that. Indirect heat, cook them until they hit the internal temperature that you want. Ours went a little bit higher than 145, but I'm perfectly fine with that because they are still juicy. They got a ton of flavor into them. So thank you for joining us. I'm Jimmy from Memphis Barbeque Supply, and you can follow us on all social medias, or you can check us out on our website, mbbqsupply.com. for the thick cut pork chops.